But speaking of bigs now, since you just mentioned Boogie, even though I wanted to know who is your top 10 centers of all time. There's never been a conversation of really about top 10 centers. Is usually top five. Is usually top five centers, not top 10. We know we everybody got their top five list, but who's the other five is the question. And everybody's list is different.
Yeah, everybody list
And I
is
ain't gonna lie,
different.
honestly, when I was doing this list, I struggled. Like
Yeah.
going back and looking
I
at
kind
my
of had a
history and
blank.
what I know, yeah, I kind of struggled with this list. I'm gonna give you mine, right? So my five is I might get backlash for this, but I got Hakeem on at number one. You could change it with Shaq or Kareem, but the reason why Hakeem is like I believe he should be number one is because he's the most skilled center in my opinion. That's why. But Shaq could be one, Kareem could be one. I'm fine with that. So that's the first three right there. Then you got Will and Bill. I don't like Will and I don't like Bill Russell, but I'm not gonna discredit what they did. You know, I'm not gonna discredit what they did. So they're 4 and 5. So that's a five right there. Now this is where it gets tricky because I got Moses Malone at 6, D Rob at 7, Patrick Ewing at 8, I got Willis Reed at 9, and I got Dwight Howard at 10. And my honorable mentions is Alonzo Mourning, Bill Walton, and Bob McAdoo. Like that, I struggled with this list because it's like, how can I leave Dwight Howard off this list? But it's like when you compare him to guys like Alonzo, Bill Walton, and Bob McAdoo, they was just as good as him. They got more accolades than him. Like they put up better numbers than him. You know, it's like hard. And then Willis Reed is up there for me because I'm a Knicks fan. I'm being a little biased. I'm a Knicks fan, but also, who do you really know is gonna get injured in the finals and come back and win NBA Finals MVP? There's not a lot of people that could just do that. Get a serious injury and come back on the floor, play with a serious injury like that, and just perform and win. Like you can't discredit that performance by him at all.
You can't at all. You can't. You cannot.
And then that's my 10. But I struggled with this list. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, this list was hard. I'm not gonna lie. I struggled.
I struggle with my list specifically because there's two people who's currently playing that I want
That's
to put on.
another
Well,
thing. It's
not two, more like one. But I don't want to put them on. I don't want to put them on there strictly just because of what they achieved as of now. Their career just
that's
started.
the thing though about doing this, right? Because I struggled because it was I was really thinking about the two centers in the league right now in Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. If I can put them in top 10, some people probably already have Joker in the top 10, but it's like outside of the two MVPs, he doesn't really have much to his name. He doesn't have an All Star MVP. He didn't lead the league in assists or rebounds or blocks like the other guys. He don't got no All NBA defensive selections like the other guys. He probably got the All NBA selections now, and the triple doubles, of course. But it's like outside of like the two MVPs and the All NBA selections and the All Star selections, it's like he doesn't really have much to his name. He hasn't even seen the finals yet. And think about it, he only been in the league 7 years, but Bill Walton Bill Walton played 4 seasons and got what, 2 chips? No, not even. He has Bill Walton played four great seasons of basketball. That's less than Joker.
And got 2 chips,
And
right?
he has an MVP, a finals MVP. He led the league in rebounding, if I'm not mistaken. And in that 4 year stretch, he averaged 3.2 blocks. Like, I'm just saying, like, you know, and think about it. We don't know how good he would have been if he would have really
He
was
would have
healthy
probably ended
for
up
his
top.
career.
He would have probably ended up top five the way he was
That's what I'm
looking.
saying. So it's like that's why I had to leave Joke off because he doesn't have enough. As great as he is, he doesn't have enough to him, and that's sad because he's that great already. But I want to hear y'all list.
I'm gonna let you go first, Sammy.
Man. All right, let me get this. Well, I'm fake gonna be a bit biased. This. No, matter of fact, no. I have Shaq 1, Kareem 2, I have Hakeem 3, Wilt 4, Bill Russell 5, David Robinson 6, Patrick Ewing 7, Bill Walton 8, Dwight Howard 9, and only because I am going to be a bit biased, I'm gonna have Jokic, but he's legit 10. Jokic is legit 10.
All right,
That's solid. I fuck with it. I fuck
it's
with that.
not bad.
Yeah. My
To be
list.
honest, I had a tough time like between where to put Shaq and where to put Kareem. I even had a
Yeah,
case
'cause
where
those
I really
first
had a
three,
case where
wow.
I really had a case to be biased to put Hakeem 1, but that'd have been real biased. That'd have been real biased to have Hakeem #1 or everybody else on that list.
Yeah.
That'd have been real biased.
That'd been OD bias. That'd been crazy. Like Melo. I won't say it's crazy, because that'd been biased. That's what it'd been. A bias. Or I mean, but not. I won't say it's biased because everybody got their reasoning to behind their things. But my list is I Kareem 1. Can't argue longevity, all that longevity accolades, everything he does did for the game. 2, Shaq. 3, I got Hakeem. You can't get mad with either one of those. That's 1, 2, and 3. Like you said, Melo. Either one, I don't get mad with whoever you put at 1, 2, or 3 between those three guys, as long as that's your top 3. 4, I like Wilt over Bill, so I'm taking Wilt. I'm gonna take Bill 5. I don't like either of them, but you gotta respect their greatness. 6, Moses. 7, D Rob. Like Melo said, this is where it gets harder because I feel like the top 7 guys is like definite. Those like whatever you want to play them at, that's how you put them. But I feel like those 7 guys is definite there. 8, that's when I go to Jokic. I know that might be a little high, but I'm gonna explain after. 8, Jokic. 9, I got Ewing, and 10, I got Dwight. My honorable mentions: Willis Reed, Bob McAdoo, Bill Walton. I wasn't gonna say Embiid, but just by watching what Embiid does and how good of a player he is, I cannot just not mention Embiid because I am just not just going off of accolades and everything. I know what I seen with my eyes. Embiid should be a top 10, damn near player, the center in the NBA. He just don't
I
got the
agree.
accolades.
That's incredible.
But Jokic, I got him 8. Them two MVPs carry a heavy load. Only because they carry a very
They
heavy
do.
load.
They
And it's
do.
not just the MVP name and status, but he did have one of the 2 highest advanced stats and statistical seasons as like a
Yup,
player in
he did.
NBA history for both of those MVPs. And he did a better job even the second MVP than he did in the first. So that's the only reason why I gotta give Jokic at least a top 10 nod, but I give it over Ewing because in a few years, even though we talking about right now, I still think he's a better player than Ewing. And then it's like we know what the
I agree.
longevity. We know we're gonna see at least 2, 3, 4, 5 more years of Jokic like this. We know what he's gonna be. Cannot we know what how much he probably end up with like 7 All Stars, 8 All Stars at least, All NBAs and stuff like that. So I don't think the longevity will be the issue for Jokic in his case. And like I said, MVPs carry a heavy load with him. But like
I
I
agree.
do
I
want to
agree.
speak on Bill real quick though, because I do think he would have been that guy if he never had a bad career. Also, a guy like Bob McAdoo, if he never got hurt, he would have been a monster too. Probably been higher on the ranking. I think that's solid list for everybody right there.
Yeah, that's what I said. I really struggle with this list, bro, because it's like it's hard to leave Joker off, but it's like, how can you leave Bill Warren off or Bob or play like Bob McAdoo? Like, it's hard to leave certain players off. Like even Dwight, like Dwight was my last pick, but I really struggled to see if I'm really gonna put him 10 or not. Like it was really hard for this list.
I felt like I had to put the White
This is probably
because
one of the hardest lists I probably did.
the White
Real
had to be on
talk.
there. He
Well,
get
cause it's
disrespected
like
too
because
much.
it's big. Not really a lot of bigs that really impacted the floor like that. You don't see
Yeah.
many bigs. You do the things that the bigs we just talked about did on the floor. Kareem, longevity. Shaq, brute force. Hakeem. pure finesse. Dwight Howard, pure defensive ability. Like Bill Walton, his ability to just do everything on the floor
Literally
and still win
everything.
an MVP. Like these bigs going from like the '70s up until now are so diverse in what they could do. Is like you can't not talk about them and give them their credit.
That's literally the biggest. I feel like center in any damn near any case scenario is almost the most important piece to a championship team. Cause who's gonna do the little
Yeah.
things like set screens, grab them rebounds, and it's not like they not gonna pass the ball too. They do other small things. They do that and they hustle the hardest on the team most of 9 times out of 10. They centers do most of the small things that you really need in a team, and it may not be a star center doing it. It may not be. It may be an average center doing it, but who knows? I feel like they always at least impact the game at like to a certain extent to where you need a solid big, at least a solid big.